Three, two, one, 1, 2, 3. Welcome back for spending time with me. Welcome back to What's the Word. This is Paula, your host for this evening or this morning, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Thank you for spending time with me. Greatly appreciate it. And I'm very glad I got the intro done correctly this time. Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry, didn't know that was gonna happen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I'm on the camera. I'm probably gonna have to keep going, on the camera because I want to do a video to explain my Facebook post, and I got my Bible back there, but right now I feel like this video has to tell you my heart because I'm going through a lot right now, and I feel like the world is going through a lot. Like emotional turmoil, confusion, and a lot of other very strong feelings. Told you I'm gonna have to keep doing it. Paper towels and yes. So as you know, we're in construction. The thing is like, whatever. I don't want to do a video on here because, I do want to eventually, I want to get into the Bible. But right now I just want to, I don't know how to keep it on me, because that the screen thing won't, it just gives me that little thing no matter where I am. So, anyways, I just wanted to, I showed you guys my Facebook page this last video just because so you can get an insight of who I am. And unfortunately, apparently, what I post on Facebook consists of my views and, this whatever. And I did explain that, the songs, how I felt about certain things. But I got a letter from my daughter, so I have 2 grandbabies now, and I'm not wanted in either one of their lives because it's my daughters that got taken 16 to 18 years ago. My first 2 got taken when I was 18, and my second 2 got taken when I was 21. My first 2 got taken when I was 18, 3 months after my 18th birthday, because I stupidly told a counselor that I didn't want to live at home anymore, that I wanted to get out. And they didn't help me. They wanted me to get out, right? They wanted me to get out and get out on my own. See, that's why I'm trying to do the thing, because it won't work. So I'm just gonna, I guess, have to keep doing it. I don't know, because like I said, I just want to give my version or my story, because so they were taken about 16 to 18 years ago. Like I said, my first 2 got taken when I was 3 months over 18, because I didn't have my own place yet. And not only did I not have my own place, I chose that I didn't want to go into a shelter. I wanted them to help me get a job. I wanted them to help me do the things that they were supposed to be doing to help me. Even though, I didn't want to live at home, I still, I'm a young adult, and you knew my family home life. Like I said, before the age of 12, I wanted to die. And I'm not saying that my mom was a bad mom. I just, parenting tactics are different, they're changed. They've, for me, that's what I raise my kids is, my boys is, I don't want to hurt them emotionally. I don't want them to be crushed. This world is going to crush them already. But my mother's way of thinking was tough love because the world is tough. And I'm the opposite. I'm soft love because the world is tough. Where are you going to fall if the world comes crashing down? And I had nowhere to fall. So I told the lady, I said, I don't want to be at home, and for some reason, my kids have it under the impression that my family hurt them, right? My family hurt them. And that's not the truth. Not only is it not the truth, I have proof to prove that it was not the truth. When my daughter in questioning right now, my oldest, so I'm very thankful that my oldest and my youngest have a relationship because they didn't grow up together, and like I said, they were taken at 2 separate times. So I'm very grateful that they connected and they have a relationship, but darn it. But I wish I can get it to go bigger. But my oldest is a pathological liar. Her mother is the one that told me that. I'm not saying that. But based off what she is telling my youngest daughter, she is a liar. She has took her pain. She's took her pain and put it on me, and we've had discussions when she lived here with me about certain things, but not the things that she's saying, not the things that she thinks or whatever. When she was taken from me, the first traumatizing experience she ever had was screaming for me when the cops and DSS came to take them. And then my girls were separated. I only had the 2 at the time. Kayla and Star were separated. Star, my poor baby, the one, like I said, she's my oldest, and she has went through so much hell. But to blame it on me or to say that my family hurt her it's disgusting to me, and I still love her with all of my heart and soul and being. But I don't understand why kids lie on their parents. I don't understand, especially, like, I don't understand it. She was abused, right? So she got taken and she went to, I don't even know where she went, honestly. She went to some house, and she was only there for a short amount of time. And yes, she was abused at that first house. And I know that she was, because of what happened next and because of what is continued to happen in her life. She has been abused very, 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 very many times. And I'm sorry. I couldn't protect her. I'm sorry I couldn't keep her. But this is the problem. Why I lost my second 2? First of all, like I said, my third daughter is a rape baby, and the only reason I got to keep her was because I had to go to court and justify against her sperm donor. Maybe if I keep doing it like that. Maybe if I do it like that, I don't know. But I had to go to court to justify against her sperm donor of the whole 3 months that he had raped me and hid my birth control pills, because he decided he wanted a baby and I didn't. I told him I wanted my kids back before I went and got pregnant again. And I've actually been talking to my youngest daughter's father about the situation, because he was there I've known him since I had all of my kids. Like, I've known Greg, for many years. Very, very many years. And he knew that, one, I was homeless with my daughter because my mother moved my brother in the house, and I don't like my brother, and I'm sorry, God. He knows my heart, okay? And this is why I said I am not this holier than thou. Yes, I preach and I read the Bible, but I am human, okay? I am a human. I have thoughts, I have actions, I have feelings. I am human. And I still, till this day, I love him, but I do not like him. My mother on her deathbed asked me to take care of him, and I told her, no, I will not. I will not. That is your baby, and you babied him. I am beyond good. He is, and I'm sorry to like say it like in a thing, but he doesn't take care of himself. You know, doesn't shower, doesn't clean, doesn't cook, doesn't do anything. He just on the TV, on the video game, just sitting there, you know, nasty and doesn't want to do anything. As soon as he graduated school, he just been sitting down because he's been on disability. Oh my gosh. He's been on disability for a very long time. So, you know, he's had money coming in. He hasn't needed to work. He does work now, but he only works part-time because of the disability, you know, and people love him. And like I said, that is awesome. That is a really great thing because he needs it. Everybody in this world needs love. But I grew up with him from childhood, and I know how he was raised. I know how he lives. And I didn't like him, all right? So my mother moved him back in the house, and I was like, Mom, I'm not being here when he's here. I can't. He makes back then, it was a lot more cringier than it is now. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. I just know that it was a lot more cringier. And I'm just gonna, I guess, try to keep doing that and see if that works. But I couldn't be around him. So I was on the streets. And not only was I on the streets, when I got off the streets, right before I lost my kids, about 3 months before I lost my kids, my family was all planning on going to Alabama. And like I said, my story hasn't changed because it's the truth. Anyways, we were all planning on going to Alabama. And we all got bus tickets. So we needed one more bus ticket. Well, when I left, right? So I left my mother's house. I slept on the streets for 2 or 3 days. And then I don't remember exactly how, but I do remember where. So we slept in, she was all bundled up in her little, like, you know, the baby jackets and everything. So she was bundled up, you know, and warm with blankets and everything. I had her covered up in the stroller. But me, as far as warmth, in New Bedford, anybody who knows New Bedford, there's a bus terminal across the street from the library. And the city hall is in the same as the bus terminal. The bus terminal, city hall, and library, all right there on the same block. I slept on the library stairs, and they have, I don't know if they still do, I haven't been in New Bedford, but they have, you know, those lights on the stairs. That was warmth for me. We went to Dunkin' Donuts, but Dunkin' Donuts won't let you sit there unless you're buying something. And, you know, obviously I'm on the street. I didn't have money to buy anything. I left my food stamp card with my mother just because, you know, I don't know. I don't know why my mother had it because, you know, I didn't even know that it was supposed to be mine and not hers. But anyways, I didn't have any money. So I slept on the library stairs for a few nights. This one girl told me that she was going to come pick me up and, you know, she had a party to go to and then she'll come, you know, scoop me up and I can stay with her for a while, but that didn't happen. And again, I don't exactly remember how, but I do remember that eventually we moved to, his name's Little Chris. I don't remember his last name, but he was like 3 feet, 4 feet tall. He was so tiny and I'm short, so he was smaller than me. And it was just, his name's Little Chris. He lived on Ash Street in New Bedford. We're near the Ash Street jail. I'm not exactly sure the name of the street. Greg we did the other day. the day before yesterday, he had me on video camera and he did like a reminiscent of our life together and our life, and he drove around New Bedford and Fall River. We got engaged a couple times, and I do remember the first time that we got engaged, and I did get mad at him. I don't remember the fight, but I got mad at him. I pulled the ring off and I threw it out the car window, and he's like, "This is where you threw it out." And I was like, "I'm sorry. I never said I was a saint, right? Like I said, I am human. We have emotions. We have all kinds of stuff. And the only reason why I do what I do as far as reading the Bible is to teach my perspective, to teach my life lessons. Because I think that's where the misconnection comes in. People believe what they believe based off their own life experiences. So that's why I think it's more of a communication thing, not a battle. We don't need to battle. We need to communicate, because what you have been through is different than what I've been through. So your views on life is completely different than my views. Some people are rich their whole life. Some people are poor their whole life. Some people go from the bottom. That's why I love this song, when you come from the bottom, the only way is up. Literally, when you come from the bottom, the only way is up. And that's, I'm not saying I'm holier than thou, and I don't judge people. She called me a homophobe, but do you know anything about me? I don't remember the timeline. I'm still trying to remember the timeline, but I do remember, like I said, I've known somebody that we're going to get into. I got to finish my story about little Chris and the whole situation. But, I've known her since I was pregnant with Star. She knew Star's biological father. She actually hated me for the same reason that my kids hate me, or my youngest hates me, is based off somebody else's opinion of me or somebody else's perspective of me. And didn't believe that what I had went through was actually what I had went through, right? So not to mention, like I said, my third daughter's a rape baby. When my first daughter, the day that I found out I was pregnant with my first daughter, I didn't know, right? So I thought my cousin, I don't know if I want to say her name, but my cousin said she was dating my daughter's father. And I was like, you can't. You're a lesbian. You like girls. Since when do you like guys? So I didn't believe her. Honestly, I didn't believe her. And he said they weren't dating. They weren't doing anything. So we had been dating for a long time. Well, not a long time. It was at least 3 to 6 months. So it wasn't really a long time, I guess. But we had been dating, and it just was, it was good, and we wanted a family. At least that's what I thought. I thought that, we wanted a family, that he was, we used to play with his little nieces and nephews and take them for walks and pretend that they were our babies. And it was just cute to me, and then, like I said, the day I found out I was pregnant, my ex got mad at me because first of all, I didn't leave him for him. I left him because he smacked me for no reason. I honestly don't even remember the reason, but I do remember that he had this really old army car in his backyard, and me and him had got into a fight, and he smacked me right in front of my brother. I remember the army car because my brother was sitting in the army car, and my brother said nothing. And I've told you about a time before that I got my butt whipped by this boy who, I think I told you, if not, but I was very little. We were very little. We lived in Loxley Apartments in New Bedford. Loxley Apartments in Alabama. I love this one. It's so pretty. But Loxley Apartments, and this boy didn't want me to play with him because I was a girl, but I had both my brothers and his cousin that I've always played with. And just because you're here and you're a boy, you think I'm just going to stop playing with you? And that's what I told him. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. These are my brothers, and I've always played with your cousins, so I'm staying. And he beat me up because of that. Like, literally kicked me, put my head on the bumper in the because it was a parking lot, so we were on the sidewalk, and he put my head on the bumper of the car and just beat the crap out of me. Needless to say, my mom went to the office, and he ended up getting banned and wasn't allowed there anymore. But, my brothers, like I said, I was with my two brothers and his cousin, and they did nothing. There's a lot of times in my life, even when Alan was raping me, I just was talking to Greg about that. There was at least 4 people in my house the first time he did it to me. The first time, like, he was talking about it. We had 2 bathrooms, or half baths, 1 bathroom and a half bath. And I always kept my pills in the half bathroom. So when I came downstairs to get breakfast or whatever, I would get my medicine and go about my day. This day I went to go get it and it was gone. And he laughed about it. And they all like, whatever, where is it? Where is it? You're not getting it. I told you I wanted a baby. You're getting a baby. And I was like, but I don't want to. And I like yelled and I don't want it. He carried me up the stairs over his shoulders and raped me for the first time. And these men, these people watched this happen and nobody did anything. There's a lot of times, like I said, there's a lot of times in my life. And that's what hurts about my daughters, both of them. Because they know nothing about me. They were taken for a long time in Star, even though when she was here, we never had these conversations because I'm sorry, but she was too busy boy hopping to have a baby. She came and got engaged with this one guy, and then she got another guy, and then she was telling me about how she used to go to car meets and wear this skimpy skirt, so easy access. Like, that's coming from my child, and then you're gonna put this crap that she telling my youngest daughter about me? Have you told her about your stories that you told me? So, you know what I mean? Like I said, she's a pathological liar, but what do I know if it's true or not? What do I know? Right? But what I know is what she was doing while she was here. What I do know is the reason I threw her out, which, like I said, she can, and I told her the same thing. You can live your life however you want to live your life, just don't bring it here, and don't talk to my kids about it. And that was another thing. Like, that was like the final straw was, well, a couple straws. So she had had her door open and my Noah was in her room with her, and she was on the phone with her new boyfriend that 2 days ago she just got engaged from this guy that brought her down here. He bought her a car. He brought her down here. He paid $1,000 for a dog that she wanted. She lives in New Hyde, New York, and they drove all the way to New Bedford, Massachusetts to get this dog from that friend that I was just telling you about, that I've known her whole life. Or, while we were pregnant with our oldest babies, who are now 23. So I've known her for over 20 years. Over 20 years. Over 20 years. Oh my God. Anyways, I was like, hold on, that's not right. But yes, I'm almost 40 and we were 15 when we met. 14, 15 when we met. But anyways, she drove all the way to get this dog because my friend is now a dog breeder of huskies. So I told her, you can live your life how you want. So she was on the phone. What are the odds that you can see your boyfriend's house from your bedroom window? And I was like, dude, did you not just get engaged the other day? And Noah is right here. I don't want him to hear these conversations. I don't want him to be, while you're on the phone with your boyfriends, talking this crap. My 8-year, he was, I think, 6 at the time. He doesn't need to be hearing this. Like, I don't want him to hear this. No. So then she started, like, leaving. She left and, wouldn't come home. For 4 months she lived with me, and oh my God, I was doing so good. I was doing so good keeping it. But I guess I gotta do it quicker. I don't know. But anyways, can we like play with it? I don't know. But she was doing good. We were doing good. Anyways, she would only come home to get her clothes and change, shower, whatever. And then like right before Christmas, when did she come? I think it was October she came. September, October, November, December. So around September, October, she came to my house. In December, like right Christmas, she told Noah, I'll be right back. I promise. I'll open up presents with you, blah, 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 you know. So Noah for 3 days was, where's Sissy? Where's Sissy? Where's she go? What this, that, the other? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you. And that's what I told her. I said, look, I appreciate that you live your life. You do how you want to do your life, but I am protecting my child regardless, right? I told you can live how you want as long as it didn't affect me and my children. You affected my child, and I'm not going to have him sit here waiting for you. You're going to tell him you're going to be home at a certain time, and then you don't show up. I'm not doing that. Am not doing that. That's why I didn't even tell him when we were in Massachusetts when his dad would come, because it was the same situation. He would say, oh, I'm coming to get him, and then he never showed up. So, that being said, is the reason why she got thrown out. Like I said, she was boy hopping so she could become a mom. I don't know why she thought being a mom, because she's my child, I thought the same thing, that being a mom would make my life better. That, I would have the love that I've been searching for, and life would be great, right? That's what I thought, and clearly that's what she thought too, and for her, it's turned out that way for the most part. For her, she's got her stepmother now, or her biological mother, right? Her adopted mother, she's got her now. And I say biological because this is what the letter entails. Anyways, that, she's got her baby, she's got her baby daddy now, she's got whatever. And when I threw her out, she basically disowned me. She basically said, I don't want anything to do with you. You threw me out when I needed you the most, which I completely understand. I understand that. But at the same time, I, as a person and a mom, didn't know how to help her where she needed to be helped, as well as not allow her to hurt my children, my child. I didn't know how to do that, and I still don't know how. I still, how could I have helped her where she needed to be helped, as well as not let her hurt us. So regardless, I threw her out, and somehow her and my youngest got connected and started talking and texting and whatever. And then my youngest decided that let me put that actually on Do Not Disturb, because I don't know. Oh, did I pass it already? There it is. All right, so, again, I don't know how they got connected, but they got connected, and I didn't know that my youngest, last I knew, right? So I asked, while Star was here too, and this is another thing where I'm confused at why they call me a homophobe. I asked my Star, my oldest, to explain to me about the they, them, he, her, all the things. I asked her to explain it to me because I don't understand. We had gays and lesbians and straights. That's it. And now they got all this crap. And then I find out about furries. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is why I said the world has gone mental. And I wanted to put out too that the devil has free reign over this world, right? The devil, God threw him out of heaven and told him, you have dominion over this world. But those who know him will seek him, will find him, and will know that these demonic demons are here, and they will hunt us down. They will hunt us down, especially those who are seeking God. He doesn't seek after the ones that he's already got, because he's already got them. What does he need to do? But the more closer that you get to God, the more demonic crap, the more evil will come to you. I'm not saying it doesn't, bad things don't happen to everybody, but it does. But I promise you, the more that you seek God, the more you'll see that, the attack from the other side. But anyways, after I threw her out, I found out she was pregnant, and so she accomplished her goal. Congratulations. I didn't know who or how or when or what or anything else. I still don't know full anything about it, but I do know that she accomplished her goal. She's a mom now. And then my youngest, like I said, they got in contact. My youngest followed suit. My youngest, last I knew, and like I said, that was the whole point of it, was I was asking Star to explain it to me about the they, them, whatnot, because my youngest she's a girl, and then wanted to be a boy, and her boyfriend wanted to be a girl. So when she first decided she wanted to be a boy, her adopted mother, and I was talking to Greg about that too, her adopted mother called me and was like, hey, explaining the situation, and then asked me, okay, so I get 3 visits a year, maybe tops 3 hours in these visits. So tops 9 or so hours I get a year with these kids, right? With the 2 youngest. 9 hours a whole year. There's 24 hours in a day, 9 hours. So that's a whole 1 work shift and a, overtime work shift with these kids. And she asked me, she says, during your visits or any time that you've spent with them, have you noticed any changes? Have you noticed any lead to why she would think that she's a boy or feel that she's a boy? And I was like, I don't get much time with them to know, but first of all, it's supervised visits. So Amy was at these visits the whole time, which is their their adopted mom. I am their biological. But anyways, they it was always supervised. It was always supervised. And she was always there. So how would I know anything about anything, right? But that was the first. She had asked me, do you feel or know anything about anything? I was like, no, how would I know anything? And then, like I said, I still, till this day, just don't understand it. I know that I too went through, when I was younger, all I wanted to wear was boys' clothes. I wanted to dress like a boy, wear saggy pants and a big old shirt, and my mother tried to dress me cute little girls, and I hated it. I hated it. I love dresses now, and I love looking cute, and obviously I do Mary Kay, so you gotta look cute for it, but there's phases in our lives. So I was asking Star to explain that to me, and so the last I knew with my youngest, like I said, she followed suit with my oldest of having a baby, and last I knew she was a girl that wanted to be a boy, and her boyfriend was a boy that wanted to be a girl. Next thing I know, I play on TikTok, and I see a picture of my daughter with a belly and an ultrasound picture, and I'm like, oh my God. And the fact that this is my problem, based off this letter and the way that she feels, I'm confused at why, and I've tried to have these conversations with their adopted mom. I've tried to have these conversations, but she didn't care to understand, and I was like, I don't know what my limits are as far as communication. What can and can't I say to them? And I couldn't say much of anything. So now she's bashing me for a lot of things that we could have communicated about. She says my views and beliefs. How do you know anything about my views and beliefs? Zero thing. Because of a Facebook post? Because that's what she said, a Facebook post saying sex is only between a husband and wife. Well, yeah. If you know the Bible, says it right in Genesis. God made man and women in his image, and then be fruitful and multiply. And that was one of my points that I had mentioned to her. Now that you're a mom, right? How did it happen? And that's where I'm confused as far as, yes, I get gays and lesbians and the whole adoption and everything, but naturally to conceive a child, you need a sperm and you need an egg. You need a sperm from a male and an egg from a woman. Sperm, egg. They have to be combined. Even for chicken eggs, I just learned. I didn't even know that crap. Like, he was trying to explain that to me because got one hen and 8 roosters or whatever. And I was like, how? I thought the girl laid the egg and then, they fertilized it. But no, I don't know. I still don't understand. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we need to learn and we need to teach each other. Not as far as our views and beliefs. For me, I know God. So it's a life choice. It's not a belief. It's not, like I said, Christianity to me is not what a Christianity to somebody else is. Christianity to me is God is in me. God loves me. And he has showed me more than enough times. And this is why I gave my baby. Because this is a reminder of how much God loves me. How close I am to God to give me this. If you know anything about me, these are my 2 favorite things in the entire world combined into the bear that holds my husband. Look at it's his clothes and it's his ashes and it's a bear that holds my husband. Look, it's open. I opened it because I did have it closed, but I opened it because I didn't account for my children and I apologized to them. So I made them their own little stuffy bears to hold their portions of his ashes, but anybody that knows anything about me, and this to me proves that he is with God. This to me proves that God is with me, even in this darkest time of my life. I told her that God found me in my lowest, and that was after I lost my kids. I started doing drugs. It was only marijuana, but I started, getting high. It was like, I can't live this life anymore. I don't want to live no more. And I turned to somebody who in turn used my pain against me, used my loss of my children against me. We ended up getting pregnant with Cameron, and he did nothing but try to take him from me. Nothing but bash me for losing my kids. Nothing but do what he could do to hurt me. Him and his mother did nothing but hurt me and bash me and belittle me and make me feel like the scum of the earth. So that was my lowest point. And I told you guys, and I will continue to tell, because this is my life story. I need to share this with you. I shared my Facebook post, and now I want to share my story. I cried and I cried and I begged, and I didn't know who. I say God, but I didn't know at the time who God really was. I didn't know if he was real. I didn't know. I just said, I don't want to be here no more. Please help me, please. For many days. For many, many days. And then one day, like I said, I was trying to go to school. I got a medical assistant degree. I did end up getting that. Even walking from Wareham to New Bedford. Riding my bike from Wareham to New Bedford. And New Bedford to Wareham so I could see my son during the week. He tried to keep him from me. Tried to say that I was abandoning my son because I was trying to go to school. It was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I finally graduated. It was a 6-month thing. So I was doing that, walking back and forth for 3 of the 6 months. And then I heard these girls over talking about, we live in Wareham. And I was like, oh my God, I hate to be nosy and whatever, but, can I get a ride? And I explained to her my situation and she agreed. Again, that was a rocky road and crazy situation as well. But I made it work for 6 months, and I did graduate to get my medical assistant degree. And I don't know how. I'm still trying to remember, like I said, the time frame, but I had to go. You have to go for like an internship to do a certain amount of hours. My first internship, I got fired or whatever, let go because of him. Because he had threatened me or whatever. I don't remember the whole situation, but I know that it was because of him. And they said that they feared for the safety of their clients. It was a women's shelter thing or whatever, a women's clinic, and they feared for their clients when they found out what had happened. So I lost it. Next thing, I did do another internship and I graduated and I did really good. And actually, I think it was in Wareham that I was doing this internship. Well, after I did my intern and did all the hours and graduated and got my certificate, did the graduation and completed the program, for what? You need to eat breakfast too.
I know what kind of breakfast.
Just a little bit. But I completed it, and then I ended up getting a job at the Wareham Pediatrics. And I thought my life was going great. I thought this was my way out. This was my way, to do what I needed to do. Cameron had started daycare, part-time. He started at 10, and then I don't remember what time he got out, but it was it was part-time. I think it was 10 to 3. Go do it in there, please. Quietly. He's getting animal crackers, but it was like 10. He didn't start till 10. So I got the job at the Wareham Pediatrics. I had to be to work for 8 o'clock. Cameron didn't have to be to school till 10. His dad refused to get up. He said, I am not waking up to watch him. Like, I'm not. And I was like, dude, but I have a job. Like I said, he did what he could to make my life a living. So sometimes I ended up being late. Sometimes I had to call out, whatever. I eventually lost the job. I just got a car, right? So I got my first checks. It was going great. I was getting the money, $500 a week. And I was like, oh, yay. It didn't end up that way. So I lost my job. I got the car. I moved to Alabama actually for a little bit. Or no. This was after. I moved to Alabama after I had Noah. So yes, okay. Time frame. Like I said, I'm trying to remember. But I lost my job, and this was when I was just crying back and forth. I was bringing Cameron to school, and I was begging God, what do I do? What do I do? He kept telling me for 6 months to go to the Metro PCS guy, and I was like, but I don't want to, and I eventually did, and that's when I got another job. It was housekeeping and laundry in a nursing home in Falmouth, but I was able to keep my car. I was able to, find a way out. That, too, was also, he tried to make my life a living crap, because, He took my kid from school when he wasn't supposed to. He did stuff he wasn't supposed to. And it was a nightmare. But eventually, I got out of that situation. Eventually, right before I got pregnant with Noah, or found out I was pregnant with Noah, right before I found out I was pregnant with Noah, something had happened where, again, DSS tried to take my son from finding out that his dad was a level 2 sex offender. So the social worker came to my house, and she had a picture. She's like, Michael Medeiros, date of birth, blah, 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 blah. This stuff is public knowledge. How did you not know? And you didn't protect your son, and blah, 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 blah. So she came in my house and saw a picture of Cameron with his dad. and she had this like sheet of paper with the Michael Medeiros date of birth, everything that she thought it was. And she was like, oh, that's not him. So she went and looked and looked and looked and couldn't find it. I was like, see, you call me a liar when you come here all chest out, you know, and then you see who the Michael Medeiros, my kid's father, is, and now you're like, you know, now you're like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Didn't even say I'm sorry. I actually didn't say I'm sorry, but was doing what they had to do. And I get it, but at the same time, I also was doing what I had to do. I didn't know the truth. I didn't know nothing, right? Ended up getting pulled out of there, packing me and my son's stuff and moving to my mother's house, who at this point, she was home, but she was going in and out of the hospital. You know, she would go to the hospital for 2 weeks, come home for 2 weeks, go to the hospital for 2 weeks, come home for 2 weeks, or vice versa, you know, weeks at a time. This is when I moved to Alabama. So before, I think I left right when she got into the hospital. And I was like, oh, she'll get out. You know, that's like I said, it's a normal thing. She goes in, comes out, goes in, comes out, whatever. So I thought it was a normal thing. So I'm in Alabama, you know, trying to figure out life, trying to get things, you know, going. Pregnant with Noah, have my son. Things were not going so well. They were, not going as well as I had hoped. I gotta see, sorry. All right, thank you. Things were not going as I had hoped and planned and whatever. So, it was still good, you know, I guess. But 30 days later, I get a call from the hospital explaining to me that my mother wasn't doing good and that I needed to make a decision. She wasn't breathing on her own, so they had to give her, you know, the machine, the tube down her throat. When you get the tube down your throat, they have to keep you sedated so you don't pull it out. So she was sedated for 30 days, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even know because, like I said, I thought it was a normal thing. She was a very heavy smoker, and toward the end, she started smoking the Cheyenne cigarettes. They're like cigars, which, you know, cigars are not good for you to smoke in any shape or form. So she was smoking, let me tell you, 4 to 5 cartons, right? There's 10 packs in a carton. That's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 packs, right? There's 30 days in a month. That's 50 packs of Cheyenne cigars in a month. Like, insane amount of smoking. Insane amount of smoking. So, like a pack and a half a day, right? It was like a pack and a half a day this lady was smoking. And, anyways, so they told me it's been 30 days with a tube down her throat and she's been sedated. We haven't been able to let her go up because she can't still breathe on her own. So we have to make a choice. Do you want to let her go, take her off the life support, or do you want to put the hole in her throat and give her that thing? I said to do that. I said do that, and I'm on my way home now. So I was only in Alabama for a month, and I packed the car again. This time I'm like 8 months pregnant with Noah. OMG. If anybody knows, driving when you're 8 months pregnant, especially sitting there for 18 plus hours. Oh my God, my feet were swollen. My legs were swollen. My body was hurting. Oh my God, it took me a couple weeks to recoup. But anyways, I came home right on a flash. Stayed back in her house, everything. I tried to get on her lease, but they told me that it would be skipping the line. If anything happened to my mother where she wouldn't be able to come home, I would get the apartment with my kids, and that's skipping the line because people have waited years to get an apartment, and it wouldn't be fair to them who were waiting. So they did try to throw me out, because I was living there and my mother wasn't, and technically she was gone for over 30 days. Although I had paid her rent and did everything, paid her bills, took care of it, they still didn't want me there because, anybody who lives in the apartment complexes understands that after 30 days of not being there, you're technically giving up your lease. But I was like, no. Anyways, God took care of me. That was the first, well, besides Lyle and getting me that whole situation. This was like, like I said, Lyle was the first, and then I didn't see all the little things that he was doing, all the other things that he was doing until this. They didn't want me there, so I wanted to be in Wareham. I didn't want to be in New Bedford. I couldn't be in New Bedford that's where I lost my kids. And it was just, I didn't like New Bedford. I did not, and I still don't like New Bedford. But anyways, just to say, I did at one point love New Bedford, and I thought it was the most beautiful place that, my mother could have brought us to and everything. But anyways, I went to go fill out applications in Wareham for their apartment complexes. And I filled out the Woods of Wareham apartment thing. And they said that it's a 2-year waiting list. So you might not hear back from us for a couple of years. I was like, well, praying and crying that I can't wait a couple of years. I only have like a couple months, if that. So I filled out applications. Actually, I think that was the only one that I filled out because, that one and the B one, the one, I don't know the name of the thing right now, but it's that one that has the security guard there that you have to do the security guard, and the Woods of Wareham are the two that I filled out. The Woods of Wareham, like I said, a 2-year waiting list. I moved in May. I got the apartment, the call in May. It says, hey, we got an apartment open. Do you want it? And I was like, oh my God, yes. So I moved in May. May 1st was my lease date. And I only know that because we're going to get into how I moved here to Wareham. To where I am. To Jamestown. But I ended up moving in. And I didn't have much, right? I didn't have furniture. I didn't have anything because it's all my mother's house. Eventually, so I moved in May. My mother passed June 15th. So a month before my mother passed, and literally 2 months after filling out the applications, I got the apartment. They said it was a 2-year waiting list. I got it within 2 months. God. Tell you God, right? And like I said, my mom passed in June. And it was hard. I don't know. I moved all her stuff to my house, and I still can't go through a lot of pictures and a lot of her stuff, but anyways, life went uphill because I went from the bottom. The only way is up. We went from the bottom. The only way is up. Life was grand. I still didn't have a job. I don't remember the income or the situation or anything. I think it was just welfare. And I think I was about to lose my welfare, but I really wanted to work at home. I really, 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 and I still would love to work at home. So I made a post, Facebook, wherever, that, hey, does anybody know of any job? And somehow, I don't know how, I still don't remember all full details because, like I said, years ago, and I do my best not to think about the past. I think about where God had brought me and taken me out of, but I don't think about the negatives or the, the past of certain things. So, I eventually found the Marriott job, work from home. I did have to go to Fall River. They said for 6 months. Excuse me, you have to go to Fall River for 6 months, but you can eventually work from home. I did it for 4. But extenuating circumstances, and they understand. And one time, right, so you have to go, I think it's 6 weeks training in this one room, and they'll show you how to do calls, they show you how to run the phones and everything, how to do the computer and everything. One time I didn't have a babysitter for my son, and I was like, look, I have him, you guys can see I made it here. I know you said I couldn't be here or whatever, and I figured it would be okay. They said it was a hazard to have him there, so I had to go home, but they still let me keep my job. And they said this is it's showing, that I'm willing to do what it needs to take to keep my job, to even bring my kid to this place. Instead of calling out, instead of no showing, I was there. So they knew the struggle that I was dealing with at home, that it was hard for me to get a babysitter because, I don't have family. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't, at this point, didn't have any friends. I did, I'm trying to remember who. Pretty sure it was Tanya, and she was pregnant. I'm positive that it was Tanya, and she was pregnant with Jackson. And I'm pretty sure it was Noah that I brought to work with me. Yeah. Because Cameron got to go with his dad, but his dad wouldn't watch Noah, or I don't know the whole, like I said, I don't remember the whole thing. I just remember a little bit I worked in Fall River. I had a babysitter for one child, but not the other. I brought them there, and I worked my butt off for 4 months, so they let me go home after that. So it was great. Life was great. I finally got my work at home job. I was able to take care of my kids and everything. I did sometimes have problems because, like I said, my babies were very, very, very little. So I did at times have problems with the noise in the background and babies crying and, things happen. But eventually it got squared away. And again, life was amazing. Life was great. Again, that's where I met Danny. I had this girl move in with me, and apparently she was telling people that it was her apartment and I was living with her. But anyways, not true. It was my apartment and she was living with me, and I came from the bottom and worked my way up, and now I had my own house, my own apartment, my own job. I was able to keep my kids. Life was great. So I met my husband. And I didn't know that he was struggling with what he was struggling with. Didn't know. I do know that he smoked weed, and like I said, at this point, I was too, because I started smoking when I lost my girls at 21, and I didn't smoke while I was pregnant, and I smoked off and on for the gist of the time. But at this point I was partaking in the, anyways, she had lost her kids, and that's how she ended up in my house in the first place, was because that friend that I said was watching my children, who was pregnant with her youngest, who we share the same birthday. Oh, my baby. But she had asked me, she knew her, and I, again, am new in Wareham. I don't know anybody, but she knew that we were in similar situations. I lost my kids, and she had lost her kids, and that maybe I could help her because she had had her mom, and she didn't, her own tribe of children, and couldn't take her in. So I was told that she was working on, getting her kids back, but she wasn't. In my eyes, she wasn't. She was still doing bad stuff. And I set the ground rules, right? I set the ground rules. I said, these are the rules that we have in this house. You either abide by them or you're going to get thrown out. For the most part, she abided by them. But at the time, like I said, I worked for Marriott. I had to get up early and work. So I would go to bed 9-10 o'clock. And apparently she would have people coming in and out of my house while I'm sleeping because she slept on the couch. I only had 2 bedrooms, so my boys had one room, I had the other. So while we're upstairs sleeping, she's partying downstairs, and I didn't know anything about it. Well, I had talked to her because she did eventually a couple times that when I got out of work, she was bringing people in and out of my house. And I was like, hold on. I told you I don't want strangers in my house. My house is my sanctuary, and I don't care what you got going on. I don't want strangers in my house. Period. She knew, like I talked to her about Danny and about the dreams and, things that I had about him. Like I said, God showed me when I was little, and this isn't the story about that, but again, didn't know who God was, didn't know anything. But anyways, I told her that story because, at a couple points while she was living with me, I thought she was a good person, and I trusted her with, some secrets and with some things. So she took advantage of it this one time and was like, well, I'm going to invite Danny over to smoke. You want to see him. And I was like, well, I don't want a whole bunch of people. So if it's just Danny, if it's just whatever, then it is what it is. And that was the day that she invited him over. And I have pictures of when we first met, and he was helping build Legos or a puzzle or whatever. He sat down on the couch and was helping me, and I don't know if he fell in love that day too, but I just a couple months go by, and like I said, I go to bed around 9-10 o'clock, and he was still there, and oh my goodness gracious. I wish there was a way to do this. Maybe I could do a video. I probably should have did a video instead of a screen record, but it is what it is. I didn't know it was going to be this. I thought I was going to read the Bible, so this is why it is where it is, but it's been over an hour, so I'm not going to do the video now. Anyways, at one point, he had stopped me on the stairs and, asked if he can come to bed with me, and we cuddled for 3 months without doing anything. And we talked, and we loved. That first night, I was in like awe, and I couldn't sleep because I just was like, is this really happening? Is this really real? If I go to sleep, is he still going to be here? Like, oh my God. Oh my God. And it was just awesome. And from there, I have many pictures where he would be sleeping, and I would, take pictures of him. I used to just stare at him and thank God for him. Thank you, God, for putting him in my life, and please help him. And he did. He did. Like I said, he was struggling with addiction, and I didn't know it at the time, but I fought through it, and he fought through it, and which is, like I said, ultimately what took his life. Is he relapsed, and we weren't in the greatest of places because I couldn't take care of his needs that he wanted to be met. And I knew what he was doing behind my back, because that's just, like I said, I have feelings. I can feel things. I've gotten closer to God, and God feels things. I don't know. He's my father, and he tells me, hey, this is this, and this is this, and I should have communicated more to Danny, and we should have had a lot more communication, but he was having it hard, and I wasn't there for him when he needed me, and that is where we are. But like I said, for my youngest to hate me because of something my oldest said, it is bothering me a lot, especially seeing as, like I said, the whole communication. We've never actually had a conversation, and I'm not good at communicating, obviously, but at the same time, there should be conversations that should be had at certain things, especially if, you know what I mean, if somebody's saying something, you need to pick up a phone call and question it. Like, for me, I learned, and I was talking, and Greg was telling me, oh, you used to believe things that people said too, and yeah, oh my goodness. I guess at one point in my life, when people said things, I did believe them. I didn't think people were liars. I didn't think that, especially when it came to a significant situation, that people would actually lie about these situations, but they do. For sure, they do. And I learned to not judge people by another person's opinions, because there is always two sides to each story. And the fact that she doesn't know this yet is what it is. You're still a baby. I have to eat these. My throat. You're still a baby, and you haven't lived the life I lived, which is, kind of what I told her in the letter. First of all, you can't say anything about my views or beliefs or religion or anything, because that's not a conversation that we ever had. Star has her opinion, and you have your opinion. I have my facts. Only I know my facts. Only you know your facts. This is why I really hate the division between the religion. I hate the division between everything, because, like I told her, you live a different life, and you were raised differently than I was raised. I have a different life than, you know what I mean? We all have different lives, and we all have different perspectives, and we all have different opinions and views and everything based off our life. No matter if we know God or not, we are all human. We are all in the same boat, in the same ship. Or we're all in our own boats floating on this, river, trying to protect each other. And some people's boats are bigger than others. Some people's, I don't know. It is what it is. So I hate putting the word religion or faith or belief or anything, because yes, it is faith. Faith in things that you can't see. And I love that the Bible says that, is that it's good for those in the Bible who have seen and believe, but it's better for those who have not seen and yet still believe. So yes, there's beliefs, there's views, there's religion, but to me, I have my beliefs and my views based off, again, my life experiences and how God has shown me, even up until the last year. Let me tell you, even up to the last year. And I stupidly blew through the money that he had left me because I wanted to build a house. And I thought that I'd be a lot further along and that money would be coming in, and it's not. And I should have, held on to it a little bit tighter than I did. So right now I'm in a situation where I don't know what's coming next. I don't have money. I have a couple months worth of bills, and that's, you know what I mean? Once that money's gone, I'm like, what do I do? So I'm here praying and questioning, all while I'm going through pain, while I'm going through suffering of my children. And even my oldest right now is like, I've said it before, I don't understand why parenting is the hardest job in the world with the least amount of support. I get with these girls because they don't have a relationship with me. But the two that I've raised and the two that I'm raising, and now that Danny's not here and I have to do it on my own, there should be some sort of support systems for grieving mothers. There should be some sort of program where, a single mom can be like, hey, I just need 5 minutes. I just need 5 minutes. Like, I don't know. I know based off my life and my personal experiences. But like I told her, at the age of 12, I didn't want to live anymore. And I have the scars to prove it. But that is the thing. And that's what I love Mandisa's song. That's what scars are for. Because they show the life that we live. And they show that we are a survivor. I am a survivor. And God has brought me through. God has brought me through the mud. Oh my God, has He brought me through the mud. And even though right now I feel like the never-ending story where his horse is drowning in the mud. And he's crying. And he's crying and trying to save him and telling him, please don't give up, don't give up. That's me. I'm telling me to, don't give up. Do not give up. Because, there's points in my life. So my kids asked to do something and I'm like, no. But, oh my God. Go do whatever you want to go do and find out the repercussions of it then. You know what I mean? No. I can't give up. We can't give up. Life is hard because people and the devil has reign. The devil has reign over people. And again, that's why it's very, 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 very important to know God, know His word. And to me, this is my viewpoints. This is my beliefs. And yes, I post stuff on Facebook that I agree with or and yes, like I told her, marriage is between a husband and a wife because she's a mom now, right? And I mentioned this earlier. How do you become a mom? Yes, there's science and all this other stuff, and there's people who can't even become a mom and have to use science to become pregnant. But at the same time, naturally, God made man and woman. And the only reason most people, I think, is the poison in the food, the poison in the air that we're making, right? All this is toxic to our body. This way that we're living, the streets, the big buildings, the confinement into one spot. God didn't want us to be like that. He did not want us to be like that. We were supposed to use the land to live. Supposed to use the land to live. Even though I love my house, right? I love my house. I don't like seeing dead animals on the road. I don't like, my car breaking. I don't like, there's a lot of things I don't like. And I know that God didn't want it to be that way. But again, fallen angels and legions, right? They're still angels. Angels who know God. They know scripture. They know that it's real. And yet, they still, like I said, what's good is bad, what's bad is good, right? What's good is bad, what's bad is good. Because these demonic things, which is why I love, and I absolutely love it. This one girl who was going through the process, taking pills and everything and doing surgeries to make herself become a man. And she, I don't remember the whole story, but I remember that she had some sort of nightmare or some kind of vision where she was in hell for what she was doing. And it's her story, not mine. And if you watch it on video, and there's a lot of people like that who are going through the surgery to change their sex, but then they find God, because God always shows you at your lowest. God will always be there, right? He will change you from the inside out. So who am I to judge somebody based off where they are in their life right now? It is my job to teach and preach the Bible based off my personal experiences, but do not judge. Yes, you can be like, well, I don't agree with what you're saying, only because I know personally when I went through it, this is my personal perspective. When I went through it, this blah, 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 blah. If you haven't gone through it, you have zero things to say. But I personally have gone through way younger, where I was a girl that wanted to be a boy, but I didn't know the whole like sex change. But I was like, walking with the limp and sagging my pants, like I said, big old baggy pants, big old shirt. And I was like, yeah, I ain't no girl. Always see my hair as this bun. It's always been like that. I've always put it up in the bun. Even at one point, I had short hair, and I really liked short hair. So I personally have lived it. So I do not judge. Yes, again, I make Facebook posts with things that I agree. And I do know now that I didn't know then, because God changes us from the inside out. So I just wanted to take this time this morning because this hurts a lot. And to say that I'm exploiting my oldest grandchild when her mother, my daughter, made these pictures public. Not just I can see them, but the whole world can see them. Yes, I might have shared them because, first of all, it was written to her in a letter and told to her and showed to her while she was here the pictures that I took of her. I take of her. I love my babies, and I will always love my babies. And if I get a chance to take pictures that I don't have, I'm going to take them and I'm going to share them because I love them. And that's the problem that we're having as well, is that I wasn't supposed to share pictures of these two, but I did as they got older. I did share pictures of them because, again, and I'm wrong, because when I was asked not to, I did anyways, because I love my kids and my family, and people know that they are alive and they exist. So I don't know. I feel like that's what these platforms are for, is to share our, especially this YouTube, is to share our life experiences, to share, our opinions, and not to fight, not to judge. I don't know my point of this, but I just wanted to give my side and to know that I am human. We are all human, and our minds change, our actions change, our thoughts change based off our own life experiences. This is why we need more communication and less judging. More, hey, I got you. Let's walk through this together. What is it you're feeling? What is it you need from me? Do you want a cup of tea? What is it that you want? That's why let's drink tea, which is another thing. Like, it's taken me, because he used to drink tea every day, all the time. He didn't drink coffee. He loved tea. He did drink coffee when he worked at Tim Hortons, but tea, he had a belly problem. And tea helped him a lot. And even when I found him, there was a whole cup of tea right beside him. So it's been very hard because I used to make him tea a lot. And in this past year, I think this is like my third or fourth cup in the whole year because of how hard it's been. We all have hard lives. We all have hard experiences. That's why we need to love each other and stop judging, stop hurting, and just talk and communicate and give each other a hug. Give each other a hug and say, I love you, right? I love you, and I'm here for you, and I know your pain. Even if you don't know the pain, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here for you, right? I'm here for you. And we need more communication and less judging. And just because somebody has their opinion of somebody else how do you know what they're saying is true without communicating to the person that they're, the person in question? You're just going to go off based off what that person said. Well, that person has their, again, own experience with the other person. So you have your experience with that person. Like, I have a relationship, with Star is a different one, and I have a different relationship with Savannah, who, that's another thing. Like, I asked for them to explain to me because she keeps changing her name. She went from Savannah to Carson to Sky, and now it's Casey, and I don't know what to call her, so I just call her, and that's maybe a disrespect to her by the name that I gave her, because I don't know, you know what I mean, if it's going to keep changing. What, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it, so I want communication as far as that goes. But I had, that's what I asked her, like these past 17, 18 years that we did spend together, we never had a communication about it, but it did, who I am is who I am. Have I ever brought any negativity? Have I ever, like, hurt you? Have I ever said or did anything to make you think less of me? No. I don't know. And for her to even say, oh, the Facebook post, well, that's because of what Stars told you. Yes, marriage in the Bible. It's in the Bible, not my words. This is God's words, right? In the Bible, the word is living and was here before the planet even existed. I don't know the whole science behind it, and I don't know, but I do know that the words are real, and I do know what God has gotten me through, and I know what I've lived. So that's all I can say and preach and teach, is what I have lived and what I have seen. There's a lot of things I don't know, and I can't answer some of these questions that I have myself, but I do know what I know, and that God's word is real. Our words are powerful. What we speak have meaning. The Tower of Babel, people. Like, that is my biggest thing. And like I said, he brought me to a Portuguese speaking church, and I just found out that YouTube translates that for you. And that is amazing, because I can go to the IPR church, listen to it on YouTube. And instead, because I was always like, I wish there was a way to translate this. And then I was just playing with YouTube and automatic translator. I love them so much. The girls dance. And when I started going there, and I didn't hate God for it, but I was really mad at him because I didn't see myself the way that he sees me. Back then, I was still very insecure, very looked ugly when I looked in the mirror. I hated who I was. My heart might have been good, but on the outside, it didn't show. For me, anyways, it didn't show. Like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Like, I might be a good person, but nobody's gonna love me the way that I am. And like I said, I think that's why he brought me to that church, because I was so mad at him. Like, God, why did you bring me to such beautiful people? They're so gorgeous. Like, the way they dress, the way they talk, the way they look, the way they danced. They're gorgeous, and you know how I feel about myself. And he said, that's because I want you to see how I see. How you looking at them? That's how I see you. Your heart is so pure, and it will show on the outside, and I promise you it has. I don't think I'm gorgeous now, right now. I'm beautiful. But there's times that I'm gorgeous, and there's times that I'm ugly. But God sees our hearts, and he doesn't see the way people see. So that was what was taught to me, is that, he sees us from the inside out. And then the more that we get closer to him, the more that we'll see what he sees. That's why once I was blind, but now I see. I promise you. And it's not, this is what it is. They put meaning behind words, that they change meanings as we learn what the words mean. And this is, again, why our words are so powerful. So I just wanted to take this time to explain my beliefs and my views, and why I've came to where I am in my life currently, because my life experiences have brought me to where I am. And this is why we need more communication. This is why we need more, hey, what have you gone through? You know, we want to know that we're not alone, that people have lived similar situations. Right now in my prayer group, just yesterday, I didn't even want to go. And this is a thing, like, I didn't feel like I was supposed to go, but I was like, yes, you have to go. You have to go. My car's broken and I'm scared to drive there, but you had to go. So I did. I drove extra slow and I made it there. This girl is going through the same thing. Her kids she has kids at home, and she has kids that live with their dad, and the kids that live with their dad hate her for whatever reason. They don't care whether she's there or not. You know, she has counseling with them and they're trying to work through their problems, and she can feel my pain. And then we all needed what we needed, what happened yesterday. This lady, she's an older lady and she has a 40-something-year-old son who is homeless because he has a drug issue. So she can't, have him at the house. So she, mentally can't handle it, but she's tries her best to be there for him. So he had called her, I don't know, yesterday or the day before, a couple days ago, and asked her to come help him. So she went to go look for him and she couldn't find him. And she was so worried. And we literally just finished praying for her. And then she prayed, so we went around in a circle, and this one prayed for this one, this one prayed for this one, this one. She had just finished her prayer, right? So Britta prayed for her, and then the next girl was praying for the next girl. So she had literally just finished her prayer. Britta prayed for her, and then she just finished her prayer for the next girl, and the next girl was praying for the next girl, and so on. As soon as the next girl started praying, her phone rang, and she ran out the room. Hello, are you okay? And Britta was like, oh my God, imagine. Can you imagine? And it was, oh, so close. I was just about to switch it over. But can you imagine God answering prayer while you're in the middle of prayer? While you're in the middle of prayer, this prayer was answered just yesterday. I didn't go to church today because I'm scared. And I'm sorry that, fear is getting the best of me right now. But my car, it didn't want to move yesterday. The ball joints and the tires and everything is just, it's a mess right now. So I'm like freaking out to even go. The church is 20 minutes away, on the highway, and I'm not supposed to go the highway. So it's like 25-ish minutes if I go the back way. But either way, like I didn't feel safe. I still don't feel safe. Not to mention, I can't be spending money on gas right now because I don't even know if I have the money to get it fixed, because it's going to be over $1,000 for tires and like everything. And it's just, God will provide for me. I promise you he will. And I don't know what's going to happen. I know that right now I'm like freaking out, but God is, like I said, personal experiences have shown that God has got my back. He's going to provide and things are going to be okay. I don't see how yet. Yet is the key word. So I'm still right now in the trenches. I'm still grieving. I'm still, when I lost him, I lost everything. And then stupid me decided to spend most of the money on materials for the house, even though I don't have the hands to put it up. And that's why me and my oldest are like batting heads, because he promised me that he was going to work off everything that he owes me, and he hasn't. But anyways, life is life. You never know what's going to happen. Even if you're up today, you'll be down tomorrow, or you never know, you could be down today and up tomorrow. You never know what tomorrow brings. So again, Facebook is Facebook. Whether I make a post, whatever, this is what it is. So this is why I wanted to tell you my side, because at least now we're having some sort of conversation, some sort of communication as far as who I am and what my beliefs are. And what I've been through Like, you don't know it. And like I said, I don't remember the whole like timeline and everything, but I do remember some pain and some stuff. So know that God loves you and I love you, and like, we are here for each other. If you're going through whatever you're going through, call me up, message me. Hey, I need a lending ear. I need this, that, and I will explain what I know if I could, and if not, then we'll just pray and seek the answers. And this is what I was reading actually just earlier, is that faith without obedience is not faith at all. You have to obey and believe and know that God has got us. And that's, again, why I started this in the first place, was because he told me to give my story. He told me to give my view. And that's what I've been doing. I do read the Bible, and I do devotionals based off my perspective, because it's my personal life and my personal experiences that I share. But this is why the Bible also says we are all preachers, and we are all, and I loved what Britta was saying yesterday, is that we are all one body with God. As a body has many parts, so do we. We all have a purpose. Just like our fingers can't say to our ears, I don't need you. You can't do this. My ear can't say to my mouth that I don't need you. Like, it doesn't work that way. We are all here for a reason, to carry each other, to know that we are this one body of Christ, and that you're you're the finger, I'm the toe, vice versa. You're the ear, I'm the eye, whatever. And that we can't do life without each other. Like, we just can't. It just isn't that way. And life, the way that they're making it, the individuality that they're making it, is, yes, there's self-care, but there's also self-awareness, right? There's also self-awareness. There's also being aware that you are not the only person on this world, and the world does not revolve around you, right? That you can't do life without me, and I can't do life without you. You might think you can, but as the body has many parts, so are we. And we all work together, and we can't do life without each other. What if you were the only person on the planet? The only person, and nobody else lived on the planet, right? So think about this individuality, right? Or even if it was a gay couple or a lesbian couple, those two people, if they were the only two on the planet, how long do you think it would be? Also, and this is where I'm a tad bit confused as far as the story of Noah, because God killed everybody off except Noah's family. So, how, you know what I mean? Like, how do you reproduce? How do you make a family again? If you were the only person, or if your husband or your wife, just like I said, a gay husband, wife, how long would would humanity live? Right? If you couldn't adopt, if you couldn't have in vitro fertilization, if you couldn't have all the science, and you literally were the only person on the planet, how long would you live for? How could you have reproduction? How could you make life flourish again? That gives the answer of man with woman, and no, it can't be man with man or woman with woman, because Without other people, you wouldn't be able to reproduce. Without the science, you wouldn't be able to reproduce. And even if it was an infertile woman or man that were the only two on the planet, again, how would they make people again? If there was no children to adopt, there was no science to give you a child, how on earth would you reproduce again? So right now, that's my perspective, is that we need each other. We need each other. I don't know what that is. Dry eye. But we need each other. And it is not for us to judge. It is us to teach and preach on what, and not so much preach. I like to preach, but I'm more of a teach, right? Teach my personal experiences, my life experiences, so that way maybe you can learn, right? So we share each other's experiences. We share each other's thoughts based off our own personal and life experiences and our own knowledge. That's why I love to learn more. I'd want to know more, because the more you know, the more the more you grow. The more you know, the more you grow. And I love it to love it to love it. And I want to grow. I want to keep growing. I want to keep flourishing. I want to know God, and I want you to know God, and I want to know everybody. I want to know everybody's story. I want to know everybody's pain, pleasures, purpose. I want to know my own purpose. Right now, that's where I'm at. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm here for. I don't know why he brought me here to be alone. I'm so alone. They're like, you're not alone. Yeah, I got prayer warriors, but in all actuality, I'm alone. I'm here alone by myself. I'm trying to build this house by myself. Yes, I got a new set of stairs. Yes, I'm trying to get a new roof. But I'm alone, like 90% of the time, other than with my child, when, like I said, it's hard. It's very, 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 very hard. And this is why a lot of people lose faith and a lot of people lose things. But again, this is why you don't live in the past, but you have to remember the mud that God brought you out of and how he cleaned you off. And even though you're still making mud pies, still in the mud, it's still gonna rain, it's still gonna pour. The storms don't live forever. And I love that the rain is what makes the flowers grow, not the thunder. So stay calm and stay true to who you are, even though there's going to be some thunder, there's going to be some harsh words, there's going to be some loud bangs and some bad things. But in all actuality, I should have done a video instead of doing it this way, but I didn't know it was going to be like this. I just knew, like I said, I thought it was only going to be a couple minutes and teaching, telling you this. But again, we're here for each other. We love each other. I don't judge nobody, because it's not me to judge. It's God to judge. You want to make the bad decisions. I can only teach you my personal experiences, and that's where I am. Is to teach my personal experiences. I love everybody the same. I love everybody the same. I'm actually kind of a little mad that some guys can do makeup better than me. I love you, but like, how do you got the better skill than me? Come on. But practice makes perfect, I guess. And I don't practice enough, so meh. But anyways, I love everybody the same. I love everybody the same, because I too have, like I said, people just want to be loved, and it doesn't matter the sex. They just go to wherever they feel loved, wherever they feel the fullest, wherever they feel like their purpose is being met, right? So just know, even though I say I'm Christian and I believe in God, that makes me more, to me anyways, subjective to be more open-minded as far as actuality and truth, because Sodom and Gomorrah are real life, right? Sodom and Gomorrah are a real thing that has happened. So that's where we are now. This is why this whole good is bad, bad is good, thing. This one is like so cute. I really like this one. But anyways, just like I said, know that I love you. God loves you, and He will change you from the inside out. I loved that Lecrae video. You think you have to change your life to come to God, but you come to God, and He will change you. I promise you, you come to God, and He will change you. You come to your sister. Come to your sister, and I will hold your hand, and we will get through whatever it is that you're going through, because that's what I needed. That's what I still, till this day, need, is a sister, a brother, somebody to hold my hand, somebody to say, I got you. I know God does, and He's going to bring those people to me. But in the meantime, I want to be that person for you. So if you're struggling with anything, just know that I love you. And I didn't judge my husband for his addiction, which is why we were together for so long. I did get mad at him because I was scared of what happened was going to happen, and it happened. And it's, I talked to him about it, and it's never gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, and it did. And like I said, I can't go back in time, and I should have been more supportive on that day than I was, and that's my own fault. So now I have to live in my own pain, because maybe if I would have been more understanding of his pain and why he even got, the thing in the first place, or why he was going through whatever it was that he was going through, if I would have been more understanding, I wouldn't be where I am. He wouldn't be here. So you live and you learn. And you just have to be understanding of people's pain. And just hold them through it. Just hold them through it. Don't be mad at them. Because what does anger do? It does nothing. It does nothing but hurt. So again, I love you. God loves you. And you live, you learn, and you grow. And it doesn't matter where you are today. Like I said, you never know what tomorrow will bring. And the sun and the, what is it? Joy comes in the morning, and I said it before, in the morning, MORNING and MOURNING. I think I spelled them right. But morning, or morning when the sun rises. Joy will come in the morning. I love you. God loves you. And Paula, in and out. What's the word? And Mary Kay, and live your life to the fullest. Love each other as much as you can, and know that God is real, and He will change you. Come to Him, and knock on the door. Hey, I need you, and the door will be open to you. Be good. God bless, and love your sister in Christ, because I love you. Have a great day. Bye. I'll see you back here for our chapter review. Bye.